Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SpeedForce Racing. And tonight, we are going around the most magnificent track in Formula One, Spa-Francorchamps. I'm very excited. Unfortunately, though, I'm just hearing to this mentions that this is now a full season since I retired from racing in SFR and went as a pundit. Hello, Jody and Palmer, JB. Well, I'm going to take you through the constructors before we start complaining about that. Tonight we have T. Jonas in first position still, after crashing out in the Hungarian Grand Prix, his first DNF of the season, apart from the DNF of Do Not Start. Then there's Farfborough in P2 and Lee Nell in P3 after an impressive podium from Lee himself. In P4 is Smelly Badger, and in P5 is Icebolt, who defended magnificently in his Mercedes. Then alongside him in P6 is Matey Boy, and Diaboosh is in P7, and the Devil's Armpit is in P8. Gaming Fingers is in P9, and Ricky, our most recent double race winner, is in P10. Outside of the top 10 is Blood and Sands in P11, and Invader Zippo in P12. F1 Sophie is in P13, and Sigurd is in P14. Spark Monster is in P15, and Just Mikey is in P16. I think he has since left. Alson Senegal is in P17. That is Racing Podge on my list, but Racing Podge is now reserved. That is Racing Racer 555 is in P18. CPAZ is in P19, and Pro Oliver is in P20. But yes. Sophie is here tonight. Brilliant. Sorry, I was a little bit worried Sophie wouldn't turn up tonight, but yes, she is here. And I hear the sounds of someone else coming as well. Here he is. It's Mr. Bentley, folks. I just heard I heard your door open or something, and I was just sat there thinking I have to make the transition joke of you've just walked in. Yes. So, Mr. B, our friend AJ, Spa, it's legendary. On this game, Eau Rouge and Radion have been, well, they've been killers, haven't they? I think on this particular game. I mean, to be fair, I only just managed to do it in the 98 McLaren last night in the Classics, and that was amazing. No sound on AJ, well, AJ has only just walked in. So yes, but yes, we're back, and unfortunately, a little bit tardy because today is the last GP2 race before Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. So we will be going off air for people saying they can't hear you. All right. Well, I'll seem like an idiot while I'm talking to myself while you handle that. So yes, tonight is the last GP2 race before Christmas. We'll be returning on the 16th for GP2, and that is of January, so next year. So we'll see you in a year after the end of this event. But there'll still be things going on in SpeedForce that will be unstreamed. But the league will be coming to a halt for Christmas, which will be nice. Nice to have a nice long break so all the drivers can have some nice relaxing time.
No, they should be able to hear me.
He should be here. Is he here? Can you hear him, folks? Is Mr. Bentley, is the wordo Bentley here? Now, we haven't talked much about the weather that Spa can throw up. I'm really hoping that it's going to throw some weather up in a second as we click over to qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. There always seems to be some dark clouds hanging over.
Yes, not in qualifying.
But yeah, no, it looks pretty dry.
Nice and dry right now. So the strategy here, AJ, what's the strategy?
Oh well, thanks for dropping this on me.
You're right.
I believe it's soft to medium, one stop. Some people may go. I think super soft is the harder tyre. Sorry, the qualifying tyre. So people may go for super soft rather than soft. And play the two-stop. I think that's like don't quote me on that. Wait until they actually drive out, but I believe that's what the strategy is around here.
Ooh, well, Big words from AJ as normal. As we see Sauber leaving the garage, and there it is, championship leader, the man who crashed out last race. And I've seen the footage, and it was horrific what happened to him. What happened was he just he got a little bit out of shape following a car behind, and they broke suddenly, then he broke suddenly, and it was a cascading element to where he then hit Spark Bobster in the Force India.
Yeah, just reading the comments from people. Alison Sagner and Mark Simmons are saying dry quali.
Ooh,
to
damp race.
Possibly damp race. But,
ooh. I mean,
very interesting.
I know that this is a word that normally gets thrown around quite a bit in different things, but I think the racing might get a little bit moist.
I don't know what that means, I'm going to be honest.
Moist is slightly
does
wet.
That have a second meaning?
Slightly wet, isn't it?
Okay. I don't, like their tyres or
like
their
a cake
foreheads?
and all that. I calm down.
Like a moist, like a sweaty forehead? Or...
Oh. See, SpeedForce has peaked. SpeedForce has peaked right here. But yes, something I haven't mentioned, AJ, because we didn't have time for a pre-show chat, was the fact that this race marks the a year in SpeedForce of me not racing in SpeedForce, actually.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, pundit JB over here, Jolien JB.
There you go. What do you enjoy doing more, racing or commentating?
Oh, don't ask me that right now. I crashed out on my most recent race. That wasn't the classics. In the lead on lap 4. All right. No. So T. Jonas is just coming round the final corner now, and he's taken the final corner not how you'd expect to do on a qualifying lap, because what you want to do on the chicane is get a slingshot going up the straight into the first corner. He didn't really. It must have been a mess up. But look at this. These guys are going to be really aware going down to Eau Rouge. Ricky, knowing that he's got a car behind him. Oh, Zippo doing? What was that? You see that?
I didn't know. I didn't. I know that Zippo's going slowly.
He was absolutely parked on the racing line. I don't know what happened there.
Who went into the back of him?
No one went to the back of him, but T. Jonas was on a fast lap.
It was just a car in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, very weird. I don't know whether he paused momentarily to kind of ghost, and the car didn't ghost. But yeah, no, very weird that the car was parked there. Normally you wouldn't get that on the racing line. But
yeah. Well. Either way, we're looking at T. Jonas now. He's just gone through Pouan, you may laugh. Now heading down into Sector 3 now. And this car is just fantastic. It looks so stable from what we've seen through most of the lap. Get away with running wide a little bit there. Now coming around onto Blanchimont, this amazing place where we saw Max Verstappen made a move. And this is actually where we saw Guido van der Garde crash a few years back in Formula 1, back when Caterham was there. I miss Caterham.
Yeah, no, that's sad time.
I was wearing a Caterham hat today.
Fair enough. There's a few corners on this track that you can kind of run out wide and not get penalised for it. But it's just kind of picking and choosing your moments. Hopefully, the racing drivers in this race will have kind of researched that, which corners you can take a bit wider before joining.
Well, T. Jonas opens us up with a 1:43.5 for the first qualifying gambit, and Smelly Badger a 1:45.2. So I just want to mention Sophie, because for once she's in the right car, and she came in last week. I know I'm going to immediately start off the F1 Sophie fan club. She came in last week from the back of the grid and went straight up onto the podium, and that's a fantastic drive. What are we expecting from her this week?
No, definitely. I don't really know. I suppose we have to have much higher standards for her this week to get a good result. But it'll be interesting to see what she can do. But yeah, no, I'm kind of up there with the people, because there were quite a few people who finished the last race as well. So it wasn't like a lot of people dropped out, and so she was kind of the next best thing. But it was a very interesting race in terms of strategy, because the fact that there wasn't really a correct strategy option to be on. Like the two stops seemed to be as fast as the one stop, and the harder tyres didn't really last as well as everybody thought they would. So it should be interesting. I think it will all be about picking strategy and being able to be implementing that in the race.
Well, her first lap is a 1:34.5, and gotta say, just for a moment, her helmet looks fantastic with the white and the purple and the pink there hidden on it. There we go, got the helmet out of the way. Here's Oliver, the other Williams, who, from what I know, is driving with a broken thumb. And if you're a pad user, that's very difficult. You can sort of get away with it on the wheel, but injuries, I mean, I know we're driving esports and all that, but injuries are still quite a big thing in here, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've had a couple of sprained wrists this year. I'm not sure whether it's been off using the force feedback or I've sprained my wrist some other way, but it means that, yeah, it's been much more difficult for me to use wheels for certain weeks, so it can really affect your performance, and you've got to make sure that it doesn't hinder you very much, because the fact that everybody else is racing at full capacity. So yeah, staying with it.
It definitely does. I mean, I have RSIs in my hands all along my little finger down to my elbow on both hands, and they're very sore. As Oliver goes for a 1:45.6 in his initial run, and it's really bad when you're attempting to do like pound out hundreds of laps when doing practice. Then you end up not being able to replicate that, being injured in the race. Yeah,
absolutely, and yeah, it depends how bad the pain is. But yeah, maybe a few painkillers before the race. Take a bit of aspirin.
Well, that doesn't touch me. I normally have cocodamol.
Ah, right.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say cocaine for a second now. Like, okay.
No, that's before commentary. You set me up good and proper for that one. On board with Ricky now, the man who won in both races since his return to SFR, in Germany and in Hungary. So you're Ricky, right? You're on a hot streak right now. What are you thinking as he comes into the pit lane?
I'm going to pit. Yeah. I think you want to keep the momentum. You want to keep getting podiums, keep maybe getting wins if it's possible. And so he's gone for the aggressive strategy with the super soft tyres. Maybe not thinking that is the right choice of tyres, and maybe go on the softs now and see whether he can get more traction with those, because there are a very minute number of people who are using the soft tyres. One of Blood and Sand being one of them with a 1:45.4, put him in 7th. But it is possible to be competitive, and the runners on the super soft tyres will pit a lot earlier. So yeah, interesting call out.
It is interesting. Just looking at Racing Podge, he's gone very deep at the final corner on the start of his lap. He's gone for the sing shot, but he's gone a little bit too far on the sing shot. He's subbing for Just Mikey, so the 66 car is back in SpeedForce in that McLaren, but he's gone very wide, and that will have invalidated his lap going along that orange sausage curb there.
T-John's going for another out lap on the super soft tyre. Are we going to let me do a run through?
Yeah, we will.
We did a run through last week.
I don't think we had time. Just caught C. Pasley cutting one corner to let a few drivers through.
You're right.
Really shouldn't do that. We are going to do an onboard lap with, I think, is you starting a lap? I think you're starting a lap. I think we're going to do one with Icebolt this week, as he is starting one. The driver who did, I think, fantastically last week. Yeah, he's starting a lap now by the looks of it. Or he's pitting, one of us, so please don't pit it.
The second Premier commentator.
Go on then.
Just pulling around the final corner, getting the best exit you can, taking the most momentum down this first straight. You want to brake quite late, turn late into this corner, and take as much as the track as possible to get the best run down towards Eau Rouge. Now we're looking at getting into this corner at 190 miles an hour, hit the left curb, not hitting the right curb, and then hit the left curb just a little bit as you come over the bridge. DRS wide open as you go down the main straight, going past 200 miles an hour, 210 miles an hour on the speedo, 100 miles an hour braking point, 100-yard braking point, down into right and left-hander. You want to come back to the left here so you can get the best run going through this right-hander and down into this corner. You've got to be very patient on the steering and on the throttle, not getting it too lit up too early as you cut back across the track into this left-hander. Take as much of it as you can, because you don't get an invalidated lap time down there. You want to be very brave going through these two left-handers, taking as much speed as possible, as there's different cars getting out of the way, braking at the 50 marker, and then keeping just very patient through these corners, letting it go as Gamey gets a little bit in the way there, braking very hard into this zone. You don't want to go over that white line because it will invalidate you, and just not making sure you take too much of that right hand curb as you go down the main straight. Now coming all the way down this main straight, you want it back up over 200 miles an hour. Not want to scrub any of the speed off. You want fingertips around those corners, 100-yard marker to break down into this corner. Take as narrow a line as you can and open it up for the last corner, and that is a lap of Spa, and that is a 1:43.9. Very nice lap from Ice Bolt there.
Brilliant commentary as always through the lap from AJ as I come back into the commentary room. Yeah, that fact was nice. It's interesting that that T. John's initial lap time on the super soft tyres has stuck, even though we're now, I think, 10 minutes into qualifying. There is a mess of a car. Well, it looks like that might be Zippo or part of a Ferrari. It's interesting to know that this track is just it's the longest track on Formula One, but yet it's really short, if you know what I mean.
I'm not sure whether I do know.
It's the longest in distance, but yet it always feels like it goes so quickly because you're enjoying it.
It's the fastest. It's the fastest I suppose, because the fact that you're up to 210 on the back straight past Eau Rouge, and then also on the final straight on the run down to the bus stop.
Oh, look at that!
It is now 1:43.1, 1:42.8 from Ricky.
Oh, Lee must have been sat there celebrating so much, and then suddenly Ricky comes by and snaps it away.
I mean, there you go. That's what you want, consistency from Ricky. He's keeping his momentum up there, and he's got a 3/10 advantage for pole. Let's see if Lee Nell can come back at that.
I think it's interesting. I'll tell you what, it's really interesting because Ricky seems to be the whole package. He seems to be a qualifying driver and a race driver, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. He seems to just be able to pull it out of the bag, just that little extra time. But it'll be interesting to see whether his racecraft stands up to the test in this race, because I can't imagine that Lee Nell or T. Jonas are going to let him have it easy.
Definitely not. I mean, what would you class yourself as a driver? Would you class yourself as a qualifying driver or a racing driver?
Ooh, I think that's very tricky to say. I think if you had asked me a year ago, I would have said definitely a race driver, because in terms of kind of like just pounding in lap times, lap after lap, I was, and I suppose I am still quite good at just finding lap times. But it depends who you're putting me against. I mean, if you put me in the room with the likes of Honey, I look kind of ordinary when I qualify. But as opposed to most people, I think if I have the confidence to push the car on the final qualifying lap, then I can be a qualifying driver as well. But that's something I've kind of learned, rather than I think I was more natural at just being able to kind of be consistent in terms of lap times and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, in terms of actually putting in really quick lap times through qualifying, it's something that I've definitely needed to teach myself.
See, I'm terrible. I really can't qualify for anything. I qualify terribly, but I race I somehow get an extra engine mode or something in the race, if you know what I mean. I'm suddenly really quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's sometimes just the consistency that you're looking for, and you can't really rely on that in qualifying. You've just got to absolutely pretty much 90-95% of your ability has to go into qualifying, and just reserve a slight bit just for just to make sure that you don't kind of spin off and hit a wall or something like that. But you want to throw as much into a qualifying lap as possible.
You definitely do. Well, we're coming into the final stages of qualifying. The track is definitely rubbing in as time is starting to tumble. Drivers are going to be thinking, right, I need to either get into the pit lane, change my tyres, and go out again, or they're going to be thinking, great, I need to get out now.
Yeah, definitely. No, this is the kind of last couple of chances saloon here. You don't want to ruin your tyres too much for the race, but it is very easy to kind of just let the time slide by and not get another lap in for the end.
It will be very interesting to see what happens if his last 2 minutes. Remember that this lap is a 1:43, 1:45 a lap average. You want to get out and into the pit lane very quickly. Here's Farper crossing the line. It's going to be a very quick time. It's going to be a 1:43.4, which knocks T. Jonas down.
Farper deciding to go for the super soft tyres now. He qualified on the softs, but obviously not thinking those tyres are quick enough. Oh, sorry. I apologise. That was Blood and Sanders' teammate. Although he's also gone on to the super soft tyres now.
It's alright. You see right now, all drivers are thinking what's happening. We've got yellow flags in all 3 sectors, not sure where, and that's why. That's a Force India. Spark Bobster off, but he's just in the gravel. I think he's okay. He might have just lost the rear end. Yeah, there he is retiring, so 14th is the best he can do. There's another car, that's Matey Boy saying out on the edge of Blanchimont, not wanting to Valtteri Bottas and not getting in the way of anyone. Here's T. Jonas, championship leader, coming into the bus stop chicane now, this old style chicane, which makes everyone cringe at how slow it's going, but so fun. T. Jonas losing the rear end just a little bit. He's still going to have a chance at the lap. It's going to be a 1:43 dead. Oh,
it is so close. Look at the 1:43 times.
It's
like everywhere, like 1st to 7th within a second, or just over a second.
That's the universal sign of retiring from T. Jonas, saying, I can't do any more. And to be fair, it is -20 in Norway right now, and he's freezing.
Yeah, Ricky just starting his final lap.
He's looking at Racer. He goes in for a P12. Farper retiring from P4. He doesn't think he can do enough either. That's interesting when drivers retire. I mean, Pro Oliver retiring as well, but Farper, he had a hat-trick of pole positions for a while, didn't he?
Yeah, and I'm looking at the places that the drivers are on the track, and Ricky is just ahead of Lienel. They're both on the straight after Eau Rouge.
You mean the Kemmel straight?
Yeah, the Kemmel straight. Is it the Kemmel straight?
Yeah, Kemmel straight. It's Eau Rouge already on Kemmel straight. Then the rest of them I don't know.
I really need to learn how to narrate the track. I'm like left-hander, right-hander, all that kind of stuff.
It's still more entertaining than just saying they're going to this turn. They're turning at a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I get that.
I mean, I was talking to. This is completely off the subject of qualifying right now, but I was talking to T. Jonas about the Norwegian commentators, and apparently they're so monotone and awful for Formula 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's just like...
I mean, I don't even like the Channel 4 commentators. So.
I like the Channel 4 commentators. I think Sky just pushes too far. But look at that Ice Bolt putting it up into P2. But here on board with Ricky.
Watch Ricky.
Yeah. Take us through it, mate.
Going through the last couple of corners, keeping it tight to the left, keeping it tight to the right, and then into the left. Little bit of lag on the accelerator, and he's a 1:42.3. That was a brilliant time right there. Lee coming around the final corner. What is he going to do? Oh, it's a 1:42.8. Ricky with an absolutely beautiful lap time there.
See, now that's Lee riding the high. Oh, we're seeing Ricky now crashing on the in lap, so we're going to sit on him. But a bigger crash between.
He's just done the same thing.
Absolutely massive incident there. This is only the AI, like so it won't kill their car.
1998 that happened.
Yeah, it is 1998 all over again. But it's apparently people are talking in the chat, which they shouldn't be doing. But Ricky is on pole position. You see, look at that, Lee now riding the high from his podium last week, and he's in P2, and that's just fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting race, this one. The majority, or if not all, of the top 10 are on super soft tyres, so it'll be interesting to see what they've all got in their back pocket. Are they able to make these tyres last?
But there's the confirmation with Ricky in pole position ahead of SFR Lee now, his first front row start of Season 3. Then Icebot in P3 and T. Jonas in P4. Farper is in P5 and Matey Boy is in P8. P6, sorry. F1 Sophie is in P7 and in P8 this time is Smelly Badger. In P9 is Blood and Sands. In P10 is Game. We will go through the rest of them as we get over to the grid. See, I can count to 10 normally, but today I apparently can't.
It happens.
Yeah. But yes, obviously we're thinking about all of this, and yet there's a threat apparently of it being a slightly damp race.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose if you start on the super soft tyre, are you going to start on that? Are we going to start on the intermediates? Let's see.
Apparently, from what I hear chattering along the paddock, is it's going to be dry, dry, wet, wet. So, which means that about, I think, halfway through we might be seeing some rain. Maybe even from the start, we're not sure. We'll see in a minute as we're staring at a black screen right now. Hello, black screen.
It means that we're going to have a huge amount of fun with pit stops and overtakes, I think.
Oh, it's raining!
Oh, it's raining.
But it's still dry tyres. Look in the Mercedes garage, it's still the dry tyres. So this is similar to what we had in Austria Season 2. So they all qualified. Maybe someone will wreck their tyres thinking they'll be intermediates. But it's slightly damp right now in Spa. Oh, it's always the best Grand Prix when it's wet in Spa, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Although I can't imagine how many people are going to make it through Eau Rouge, I've got to be honest.
I tend to, I mean, luckily last night in the Classics I started, as he sneezes, I started at the back of the grid as Ricky leads us away for the first time. He's on intermediate tyres.
Oh, wow.
They are on intermediate tyres.
Oh, no, they are on intermediate, yeah.
So Ricky leads us away again. Lionel in P2 Ricky leads us away and Lionel in P2. iSpot is in P3 and T Jonas is in P4. Farfra is in P5 and Matey Boy is in P6. Sophie is in P7 and Badger is in P8. Blandenstern is in P9 and Gaming Things is in P10. Outside of the top 10 is C. Pasley in P11, Racing Podge in P12. Sigard is in P13. Whoa, Sigard loses it on the formation lap in Eau Rouge. And T. Jonas has lost it too. Racing 555 is in P14 and Diaboosh is in P15. Pro Oliver is in P16 and Spark is in P17. Alsan Senegal is in P18 and Zippo is in P19. Ooh. So we've seen Eau Rouge claim 2 victims already, and it's the formation lap.
Oh man, wet Spa. It's the recipe for destruction.
We had this in Season 1. It was full wet conditions back on the 2017 game. I was starting in P3. I was in P2 by Eau Rouge. That's because I bunched the guy off, but you know.
Oh, okay.
You were thinking respect. No, I sat in P2 all race.
I was waiting for you to go. I was in P2 and then I was in P19.
Really? I've never done that before. Yet. There's still time. But yes, I think this is the point when you're going to question who's running a dry setup and who's running a wet setup.
Oh, absolutely. And there's a lot of time to be gained with the wet setup, but is it going to get dry again? Are other people going to find the pace on their dry setups at a later stage? You just don't know.
We definitely don't know. So we're ready for the car killer as Sigard leaves the session already. So that is hopefully down to lag. Let's have a look at his car. Yeah, well, he's ghosted. So we're getting ready now to go on to the race. Havlor in P4 has said that he's running a Havlor in P4 is running a dry setup, and here you see Ricky lining up. I find it slightly fun that they haven't got the grooves on the track that they actually have in real life in the game.
Yeah,
I would have liked that.
No, that's quite fun. I suppose it's quite hard to replicate, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, then again, they can replicate the cars. They can replicate the track a little bit better. I can tell you now, Silverstone is not that flat. Spark Bobs are saying no. Well, yes, time to go for 22 laps of racing here in Spa. People saying dry setups, wet setups. Ricky seems to be the only person with a slightly wet setup. As we're getting ready for 5 red lights here in Spa. We're on board with Lee because we don't have a good enough angle on Ricky's Haas. Can we get the lights, please? Charlie? Charlie! Jeez. Go punch Charlie, AJ. Charlie!
Alright, 1 second.
He's taking his time, isn't he? What's happening here? This might be down to Sigard. This may be down to Sigard's leaving and restarting. So we're going to sit here and wait for AJ to finish punching Charlie Whiting and saying to turn the lights on. I think this is down to Sigard because he left on the formation lap and now he's had to rejoin. This is going to get very interesting. Unless they've probably already started and we're sat here just looking at cars. Who knows?
Yeah, well, apparently punching Charlie Whiting didn't work.
Did he punch you back? Oh my god, your jaw.
He didn't know. He ducked like the coward he is in the GP2 race at Abu Dhabi.
There was no glass. There was no glass between him and the car. There was one shred of glass. If you look at it, he leant out afterwards. That was a hefty impact, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Was.
Here we go. I think no, not here we go. What's happening? Sig may need to leave. Yeah, that's the word on the street right now. Gonna look through. All these guys are going to be thinking. I've sat on the grid when this has happened, and it has been the worst feeling in reality. Like you're sat there. There we go. Sigurd has left the session, so we're getting ready for 5 red lights here. A delayed start in Spa. The lights are out now, and the drivers are away. It seems like a good start from Lee, but a better start from Ice in the background. Look at Sophie. She's flying from P6, from P7 down the inside, and suddenly Ricky's still ahead. And look at that. Ice losing it. Yellow flags have been aborted. There's a Renault losing it straight up, and I've got no sound, but there they are. It's all back now. Everyone flying down towards Eau Rouge. There seems to be a mass collision happening. There is a crash. The Renault's off wide. Where is he? There he is. Everyone's going through Eau Rouge. Oh no! The Force Indians have tangled. Gamey Things is out of the session. Spark Bobster is still going, but the Force Indians have tangled. And a bad start from Farfborough has planted up there. Iceball is cut as struggling, and what's happened here? T. Johnson had to actually let Icebot through. So it seems, look at that, Leadell is in the lead. No, he's not. Gamey Things is leaving the session. Ricky has conceded a position to Leanell. Leanell now leads ahead of us. Leads us away in Spa.
Yeah, everybody seems to get a good start off the line, although a very slow start due to the inters and the wet conditions. But very clean through the first corner. Everybody seemed to make it through that hairpin unscathed. But going up Eau Rouge, everybody was going 2 at a time as T. Jonas seems to lose it on the exit of that corner. Oh no, it's Blood and Sand that's moving backwards through the pack.
Lots of people seem to be struggling today, and Spark Bobster and his teammate have come to contact. That will go straight to the stewards, or Otmar Safner will be getting involved himself. But Leanell, a wonderful start, has put the Toro Rosso into the lead ahead of Ricky, and Ricky must have seemed to struggle off the line.
Yeah, Blood and Sand really struggling on the grass there, just coming out of the final turn before the long back straight. I'm just finding no grip whatsoever.
Icebolt had a similar issue.
Place to Racer.
Icebolt had a similar issue going through Blanchimont. He's straight into the pit lane. This is Icebolt. This is James. Straight into that. Now Ricky is trying to go down the inside of Lee. He has passed him initially, but Lee has gone defensive. He's going to try and feed Ricky out, but he hasn't managed to. So Lee, after leading part of the lap for us, has lost the lead going down towards Eau Rouge, and a few drivers pit, including Diabouche and Icebolt.
Yeah, Ricky going a bit to the left-hand side there. He's lost the momentum going along the back straight, and will Lee take the position from him? Ricky might have also had a warning about corner cutting there because of the fact that he did cross the white line.
Yeah, the top of Radion is very, very touchy with penalties. If you get it wrong entirely, it might be an instant penalty. I'm not sure. Oliver has passed Zippo for... Oliver and Zippo are fighting now at the end of the Kemmel Straight, and Oliver is drifting around like the Williams he's driving is actually a Nissan GTR from the Fast and the Furious films.
And Farfber's got a run on Lee now. Lee and Ricky being fighting. And now Farfber's coming into the middle of it, and he's had a bit of Lee for breakfast, and now he's after Ricky.
Oh, has he?
He lost it. He's lost it, and Lee's come back at him. This is brilliant racing for the top 3 so far.
It definitely has been. As Diabouche retires, I just get a message from Kazmid. Oh dear. What's happened there with Dyer? But Gaming Thing saying known that would happen. Well, yeah. Unfortunately, that's Eau Rouge here. And you see Matey Boy now having to defend from Sophie. Sophie, in her rightful Williams today, is getting her eyes on it. And she seems to be very comfortable in this race. Apologies for all the green flag lights that we're getting right now. It's very disconcerting. But look at the top 5, all so close together.
Yeah, definitely. I think the top two fighting and then the top three fighting means that the top five have now come into play. Matey Boy and Sophie. Sophie having a look down the inside, nothing doing right now, but Sophie just letting Matey Boy know that she's there and she's willing to put the move on him.
Everyone pushing as hard as they can, and it seems Farfba is trying as well. Farfba's losing the back end in the middle of Eau Rouge. He's caught it though. Matey Boy has lost it. He's gone way off. And Sophie goes straight through and she's saying, thank you very much. I have got DRS, so it is not dry, wet enough for us to not have DRS on. That's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like it is drying out as well. The clouds are shifting. How
the rain
long
stopped.
is it going to be before... Yeah, the rain stopped. How long is it going to be before we're on dry tyres? Is this the lap for dry tyres? Is this the crossover point?
You know what? The thing with Spa is that it dries out very quickly, and I think that will be the quick choice. And I think they're all tiptoeing around. I think it's time for dries. The track is looking so dry right now.
Yeah, there's not even any spray coming off the tyres. How much are these tyres going to be overheating? The drivers are going to have to be so careful around these very quick right and left-handers to get the car round it without sliding too much, without overheating those tyres.
Look at Lee. Look at Lee.
You want the tyres at about 70 degrees Celsius, and option tyres, or kind of like dry tyres, run at about 90 to 100 degrees Celsius in their prime zone. So you don't want to be overheating those tyres because you will not find any traction whatsoever. And Farfba coming up the inside of Lee.
He has passed him. Track position is everything in these conditions, especially when they're pitting. Ricky's off! Ricky is off! Now it's a race between the balls.
That. Yeah, momentary lapse of what am I saying?
Concentration?
Focus from concentration. That's the word I'm looking for. Concentration from Ricky, and he seems to have just hit the wall. Yeah, just gone too far onto the AstroTurf on the right-hand side and just spun back across. And that is going to be a new front wing.
Farfba is in the worst position at this point because he has got to stick in the middle of the pits while everyone's stopping. T. Jonas might be in the best position because he can get everything changed and they get in. No, it's a new wing for the championship leader. But Blood and Sands leads. See, Pasley is in second and Farfba is in third. He's come out on the podium and you see that. That is what happens. And now see, Pasley is in the lead as Blood and Sands is gone in the middle of Eau Rouge. He's lost it at the end of Radion.
Yeah, and T. Jonas out in front of Ricky. Ricky back to 9th position now. Out after all that loss of focus with the, as we see Blood and Sand going past him there. He must have lost it a lot at the top of Radion.
He was still on intermediate tyres, so it wasn't really his fault. These just conditions are not right for the intermediates.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at Oliver now. He had the good grace not to pit on the same lap as his teammate. And I think that's very gracious of him, knowing that his teammates ahead do not pit on the same lap unless you genuinely have to. And I think that was very gracious of him, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But it's unfortunate that it's ruined his race. But Ricky on the back of T. Jonas on the soft tyres. And he's all over the back of him. And let's see if we can make a move on him. But coming up to the back of Pro Oliver now.
Yeah, this should be a pretty simple move. Oliver, knowing that he can't fight these guys too dramatically. Now Ricky, look at the closing distance Ricky had in the braking zone. Trying to go round the outside, not wasting any time passing that Williams as he loses 2 positions in as many corners. So we're all getting ready, and you look at this, the drivers are all so close together. And it's almost like Ricky didn't lose much time behind him. He's so quick right now, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely, and it's so unfortunate for Oliver as he will have completely ruined his race doing this. But it's amazing that he stayed it on the track and kept the tyres in the right window zone as racer 555 just completely zooms past him. There's nothing he can really do to defend.
Alson Senegal retiring. I'm not sure where that is. We haven't got any yellow flags on the right now. It must be a visual glitch for us. Just something I want to bring up though is that Sophie, I know I'm gallivanting more about Sophie again, is on medium tyres, the same as Lee. So they've gone for the hardest options, but everyone else going for the softer options. I mean, in that situation, she's just got to defend and hope to God that his tyres run out, hasn't she?
Yeah, definitely. And Matey Boy going past her there. because of the fact that he is on the soft tyres, but is she going to be able to come back at him at the end of the race? Is she going to two-stop and go onto the soft tyres, or is she just going to see if these medium tyres last till the end of the race?
It will be very interesting. So we just had, thank you Jeremiah, saying that with nice commentary. Well, we always aim to please as he icebolt weaving. Alsan saying that he's happy no one saw that. Why? Did you crash yourself out? I dread to think if you did. Smelly Badger is in the pit lane though, again for a new front ring. The man with the blacked out helmet is going for a new... Oh, sorry, he's gone for super soft tyres, but he's waiting for some reason. Or is that down to lag? I think that's down to lag. No, he's retiring from the session. So Smelly Badger has gone out, and that's one Renault down, and one Force India down, one Red Bull down, one Ferrari down, and one Sauber down.
Yeah, we've already lost 6 people from this race. How many more casualties are we going to get at Spa-Francorchamps this evening?
Well, we can talk hopefully not about casualties, as Ricky is now trying to get past T. Jonas a little bit wary on his rear end there, just losing it just a bit.
Yeah, so is Ricky going to look for a way past, or is he just going to sit behind him, pick his moment, and but just sit behind him for the time being, just be patient, because he knows T. Jonas is a quick driver, and maybe they can have a good bit of pace and make it back up towards the front.
You see, I think Ricky's a little bit throttle happy right now. He's pushing that loud pedal quite heavy, and seems to be struggling with it. Meanwhile, on board with Icebolt, as he's now closing up to the back end of Invader Zippo. Zippo getting the better launch out of the final corner. Now heading towards T1. Is Icebolt going to try a Danny Rick dive bomb? He does not try a Danny Rick dive bomb. But he's still right up his gearbox. He's got his eyes on the 2 Red Bulls, which are actually silver in this car, pointing their ways into the wing. This is where the wing opens, so you'll see it in a minute. But Icebolt trying to get it all lined up, trying to pass Zippo, going very close towards the end of the Camel Straight. Now, has Zippo slowed ice down along the straight like Hamilton did to Vettel? No, he hasn't. So, Icebolt is ahead now of the Toro Rosso, and Zippo is just trying to run his race at this point.
Yeah, definitely. The sun coming out at Belgium, because the fact that it looks like a much drier race is the track heating up that much more. And we look at Ricky trying to go around the outside of T. Jonas through the last few corners, just not able to make it stick. But they're both coming back up to the back of Sophie very quickly.
Spark Bobster, so 2 Force Indias down now. But look at that, Ricky's getting frustrated behind the Alfa Romeo. It's not happening yet, they both skim the grass. It's getting frustrated, and Sophie's thinking, oh god, here we go. T. Jonas has gone down the inside of the bus stop chicane, getting it slowed down. He has passed her, no, they bumped tyres, but he passes her now round the outside. He'll have DRS on her, which will protect him against Ricky just a bit, but we're going to go down the inside with T. Jonas trying to go down the outside, and I think the 76 car is still got it, coming towards Eau Rouge. No, she loses that one position. Is she going to give up another to the Haas? Whoa, what was that?
Oh wow, Ricky's found a huge amount of pace going down into Eau Rouge, and Sophie backs out of it. Is Ricky going to get a lovely slipstream down this straight with DRS open on the back of T. Jonas? Which side is he going? He weaves right and left, goes down the inside, and has he made it stick? He has. Ricky up to 4th position.
Oh, big slide though from the rear end, not sticking at all. Whoa! And he's going defensive, and T. Jonas is thinking, God's sake, what's happening? Many words in Norwegian right now coming out of that helmet, and he seems to be very happy as the Welshman passes him. But yes, we're all having a fantastic race. I will look at your comments in the chat in just a moment, as we're going to try and see who the closest battle on track is. Right now, it's still T. Jonas and Ricky, but I don't think they're going to stay together for much longer. Ricky seems to have some overriding pace right now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how long those soft tyres will last, the way that Ricky's absolutely leathering them at the minute. But yeah, at the minute, pulling away from T. Jonas and coming up to the back of Matey Boy at a soon point in the future.
It will be interesting. Now, a little message from Jeremiah here, who is a Lions fan watching the stream. Good that you're getting the game. See, I'm a pleb and I always get it on day 1 because I have a problem about buying the Formula 1 games on day 1. I quite enjoy it.
Absolutely. Day 1 release is the way to get it.
Yeah, and then you go online for the first day and you realise, wow, they really messed it up again.
Yeah, exactly. How many updates has it been now? Is it 15?
Yep. We're on point
F1
15.
having the same amount of updates in
Yellow
the first
flags.
couple of months.
Who's that? A Smelly Badger's car. At the
Yeah,
bottom of Eau Rouge. What's that doing there? He retired a while ago.
Yeah, F1's getting had the same amount of updates as GT Sport now, and GT Sport's been out a year and a bit longer.
I tell you what, I will be re-downloading GT Sport when they add in the Formula E cars.
Oh, are they doing that?
Yeah, Generation 2
cool.
I think is confirmed.
Nice, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Are you gonna watch this weekend?
I've got the. Oh right, is it back on?
Yeah, this weekend's the first race.
Oh nice, yeah. I'm definitely up for that. Seeing as there's no F1 to watch at the minute.
Yeah, go over and watch Formula E. Essentially my philosophy. I've got my little Jaguar Season 2 car. Oh, whatever Jaguar car they had, a little model sat in front of me right now as I'm doing commentary on Formula 1. They get very distressed when I do that, but you know. It's quite dusty actually.
Yeah,
I need to brush that.
I've got the Lewis Hamilton Lee Breed Mercedes WO7, I think it is. Yeah, in that game. It's a very nice car.
Just discussing GT Sport.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what was it? It was what was the
rev?
Oh yeah.
It wouldn't rev. So like when you shifted down gears, there wasn't any blip from the engine, which meant that you went into corners and basically just spun, which wasn't fun.
At least that's something that Codemasters haven't mucked up yet.
Yep.
So, yeah, funnily enough though, in all of this, T. Jonas hasn't actually, Ricky hasn't pulled away dramatically as we thought he would from T. Jonas.
No, that's true, and he's not caught onto the back of Matey Boy by that much either, gaining about 0.2 of a second per lap. But yeah, no, it's not as much of a difference as we thought it was. And plus, T. Jonas is still within the DRS window, so he's still getting that tow from Ricky down the straight, making him ever closer. Look at that.
A little bit of lag coming off AJ, so hopefully we can get him back and he can repeat what he said a second ago.
Oh, sorry.
It's alright.
I don't know what's going on. I've got Ethernet cables now. It should be much better.
Hashtag LAN is better.
Yeah. No, yeah. Just saying that T. Jonas still has DRS on Ricky, so he's closing up to him quite a lot just through having that letterbox open at the back of the car.
Yeah, and remember that wing is going to be a little bit wider in the 2019 game on the 2019 cars, so we'll be seeing a little bit more assistance from DRS, and hopefully it will make those front wings, because apparently the front wings will be an absolute failure, because apparently they've still got the same level of downforce that teams can generate.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Apparently that's what. How many times can you say apparently? According to Ferrari, they're saying that the wings are going to be pointless putting them on because the car still won't be able to follow with the fact that they're going to be able to generate the same amount of downforce. Look at the braking distance. T. Jonas so much more confident. He's gained like at least 0.2 just in that corner catching up to him.
Yeah. Although it's big talk from Ferrari, I wonder whether that'll actually be the case, or...
I'm talking to a Mercedes fan over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's Spark Bob's there.
Mercedes-AMG Petronas are English, or British rather.
Yes, they are.
German funded.
I went to the factory. I made one joke about them being German. They looked at me and they got very annoyed.
Yeah, totally. I've got it. The other thing is I've got a Mercedes-AMG Petronas T-shirt, but I feel very conflicted, and like I hope nobody notices me in it because of the fact that I work for Bentley. It's not a good kind of combination. I don't think.
You need to get a Bentley shirt and then just wear the Mercedes shirt in the car, then change it to the Bentley shirt.
Honestly, look at the website. It is ridiculous how much you pay for Bentley. Kind of any sort of team wear or anything like that. Like it's 70 quid for a T-shirt. And
clearance, mate. Clearance.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say.
Luckily, I've had the catalogue open for Christmas, so hopefully I've got a spray jacket coming from Bentley. So
that will be interesting.
See what that looks like.
So Oliver, who's on the super soft tyres, is just past Zippo. He's aiming to fly away. Just having a look at some other cars on the grid right now. Oh, he's got it a little bit wrong, but Oliver seems to be having a good time. He's lasted longer than he did last week. It seems his thumb must be okay right now. What else are we looking at? I think, yeah, Ricky's found some pace again, but he seems to be locking up quite a bit on those tyres. So he's starting to close up now to Matey Boy, but at the same time he's not. He seems to be losing it a lot in the braking zones, which is unlike Ricky. But they pass, who's that? That's Racing Podge's, Racing Podge? Yeah, it's just Racing Podge's, or Cigar, Sydney Cigar's car, sorry. They're passing his ghosted car, so it is only 11 drivers left in this race, with Farfba leading ahead of Lienel and Matey Boy in P3. Ricky is in P4 and T. Jonathan in P5. Sophie's in P6, but the race is going to come to her with Racer in P7. Sipansi is in P8 and Icebot is in P9. Oliver is in P10 of the last point paying position. Zippo, though, is trying to challenge that in P11. He's closer than you'd think. The 34 car, his eyes on that Williams. 34 versus 32. Has AJ left the commentary box for a fag?
No, I'm still here. I'm just monitoring the Oliver Zippo fight at the minute. Zippo not being able to get close enough, although Oliver is on the super soft tyres. So yeah, we'll see if Zippo can stay with Oliver, but it will be quite difficult on the harder set of tyres.
It is difficult, and it's odd to see that Oliver has stopped for those tyres. He's been on the one less lap, so he went straight from the wets onto these tyres.
Okay, so he's been on them quite well.
He's been on 6 laps.
Wow.
Still, we're on board with T. Jonas. He's got his eyes on Ricky, but he's not closing up as of yet. Let's go on board with Matey Boy, who's starting to close up to Lee. Lee's medium tyres have luckily kept him going for a while. But I don't think, as C. Jones gets handed a time penalty, I don't think they're going to be able to hold him for much longer. And there's a few drivers that are holding, I think, stop-go penalties, hiding in the corners.
Yeah, and I think this will be the case. It'll see where people are coming out when they stop for a fresh set of tyres, because I can't imagine the soft will go to the end from here. But it'll be an interesting conversation to see whether the mediums will go to the end from here.
I've just received a very odd email as I looked at my phone for like a brief second, saying that Bugatti have apparently given up the fight to be the world's fastest road car as pro Oliver Pitts.
I've got nothing to say on that subject. Being a VW Group employee.
Hold on, oh wait, they're owned by Peugeot, aren't they? Bugatti's owned by Peugeot.
No, Bugatti are owned by VW, mate.
Are they? I thought they used to be owned by VW. Then they left. Then they were sold off to Peugeot. That's what I remember. A while ago, or it's one of the two.
No.
Or they bought it.
No, we're still associated with Bugatti.
Maybe it's because Bugatti were bought off Peugeot.
Maybe. I honestly I don't know about the history of Bugatti and as to where they've come from, but I know that the whole kind of Veyron and Chiron ideas have come from VW, by giving them a huge amount of money to spend with them.
To play with. You'd have thought they would have gone into Formula 1. That would have been so much better.
Oh man, if VW had come into Formula 1, that would be peak, some would say.
See, I'm making AJ dream.
Oh, Bentley in Formula 1. That would be brilliant.
Bentley in Formula 1 or Bentley at Le Mans?
Oh, Bentley. Well, Bentley are going to be at Le Mans.
Are they doing
GT3?
Yeah, GT3s. That's not 24-hour race, is it? That's a what?
I don't know whether it's widely known, but yeah, they've ramped up their cars for next season. So there's going to be 2 M Sport cars, which will be in the endurance championships.
I think that's happening, as well as McLaren are introducing, I think, the Senna as a GT3, aren't they?
Oh wow, that would be interesting.
That's what I heard.
That, actually, but,
I heard that they've allowed them to turn the engine down and like lower the wing and that, or heighten the wing, so they can be competitive in the GT3s even.
Yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be a brilliant kind of replacement for the 650S.
That 650S is such a good car, though.
Oh yeah, very very good car. I wonder whether Chris Harris will be back in that series for Another go.
I tell you what, I just completely random subject off the subject of SpeedForce in general is that my uncle, this is going to sound really just like, oh, my uncle did this. My uncle is a very successful estate agent, and he had 2 Ferraris at one point, and one of them was owned by Chris Harris.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
The 599.
Oh, don't test me on Ferraris, I don't know him.
Yeah. No, I know that Chris Harris had a 599 at one point, a couple of years ago, a few years ago now.
I wonder if he's staying for the new Top Gear.
He is, yeah.
That's
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Him, Rory Reid, and Sabine Schmitz are on the new Top Gear, but it's going to be run by. It's like Freddie Flintoff and
Paddy McGuinness,
the guy
yeah.
from Take Me Out, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Matey Boy pulls into the pit lane. I don't know if that's a worse decision for them or having Paddy McGuinness run the Mercedes team, but it's not happening. They dropped him down. He's going to be released onto track now. A little bit of lag, and Sophie has moved up a position into P5 due to the pit stop. So maybe the medium tyre was the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think the medium tyre might run until the end. I know the soft tyre was always not going to last. But Matey Boy got another 8 laps on those tyres, so he can now max out what those soft tyres have to give. Whereas the medium tyre runners are going to have to be careful for the next 8 laps.
I tell you what, I'm just thinking. The pit lane is about, what, 20 seconds? If Farfborough pits now, before his tyres lose power, he's going to drop behind Sophie, or just behind Sophie and Matey Boy. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be winning. Will it be a medium tyre, or will it be a soft tyre?
Yeah, totally. It's going to have to be. Sophie's going to have to be careful towards the end of the race on those medium tyres. But Lee now very close to the front on those medium tyres as well. He's done very good laps. He's been very consistent at the front there, just behind Farfborough. Farfborough not getting away from him. And it'll be interesting to see how far back Farfborough has to come to be able to get back in front of Lee now before the end of the race. Or is he going to the end of the race on these soft tyres?
I think I have to warn everyone, I will shout and scream if Lee does win, due to the fact that he was meant to be my teammate this season before I retired. No, Farfborough is not bailing into the pit lane, but there is a visible line of wear on his tyres.
Yeah, he might even go for the soft to super soft strategy, so that he's very competitive towards the end of the race. But we've got 7 laps remaining. Let's see what happens at any of the soft drivers pitting at the minute.
T. Jonas.
It seems they're all carrying on.
Yeah, T. Jonas is still behind Ricky. He has been there for a while. It seems everyone's pretty much calmed down quite a bit. So we're going to pick a driver to look at. You know what, AJ, you can pick a driver to look at, and we will sit on board with them until some of the battles develop.
Let's sit on board with C. Pazzi. He's a couple of seconds behind Racer 555. But he seems to have pretty good lines going through the corners. I think. Let's see if he's got a good consistent rhythm going, as I suppose drivers will want that kind of thing in the race. He's not cutting any corners, going up the back straight, or going up a rouge rather.
That's Radion actually.
That's Radion actually. Gp2 F1.
Had to bring that joke back. Iceball has pitted.
Yeah, exactly.
And Sigard's Ghost has pitted too. The Ghost of Sigard's Past has pitted.
Oh, that's always good to hear.
I think...
Lovely Codemasters ghosting.
I think that Farfborough's tyres are starting to give up, because look at the time, it's suddenly hemorrhaging. He's lost about 8 tenths in that sector.
Yeah. Unless
I
it was
think...
just a bit of a glitch, but 4.1 seconds now. Is Farfborough going to turn in this lap?
I really think he will. 69 Red Bull, obviously for, was it Nick Helm? There he does.
He is. He's gone.
So, where is that going to place him on track? And is it going to put him behind Sophie? Because we are the F1 Sophie fan group here. Ricky carries on for another lap. T. Jonas carries on for another lap. And Sophie obviously will not be pitting unless she has damage, because those tyres should be going towards the end.
Yeah, definitely. Farfborough having his stop. He's come out of the pit lane. Sophie coming down the main straight. It's going to be close between the two of them. Farfborough gone on the super soft tyres, and he's out ahead of Sophie.
That's
and
exactly.
On the tyres as well.
It's exactly what Sophie didn't want to see. Is that her hopes for a podium over?
Yeah, very good for Farfborough. Now he's got a free bit of track 6.5 seconds behind T. Jonas in 3rd position. Can he make his way back towards the front and back towards Lee now?
Well, right now Lee now leads over a 5-second gap. He should be going to the end of this Grand Prix, and it's very interesting. It shows track position means absolutely everything right now. And
honestly, JB, I don't know how Farfber's going to gain nearly 20 seconds on these tyres, because I can't imagine he's going to be that much faster than Lee now. Maybe Lee now's won this.
I will not say I'm going to eat something, but I will shout and scream. And Lee, I think I hope he's not listening to the stream, because I don't want to psych him out. But Lee showed me a video where he raced in 100% race league around China, and someone crashed ahead of him on sim damage, and he sliced his tyre open on like 5 laps to go, and he was and he would have won that race if he hadn't. So this could be the point where Lee is going to become a race winner.
Yeah, well, it would be very good to see.
Ricky!
He's played the long game with the medium tyres, but it seems to have worked.
I think the soft tyres are well and truly cooked right now, because Ricky is seesawing as he goes through the final chicane at this point.
Yeah, you can see the lines on those tyres, on Ricky's tyres, and on T. Jonas's as well. That they are starting to lose grip and starting to blister a little bit.
T. Jonas now is just behind Farfber, just behind Ricky, sorry. Farfber is a few seconds behind. If these guys have to pit, that will put Farfber back up into contention, but there's still that gap, and I don't think Lee is gonna, unless there's a monumental mistake, Lee is not gonna lose it. Do you?
Yeah, honestly, I can't see Ricky or T. Jonas getting towards him now, but are they going to turn into pit lane and make it easy for Farfber to get past them, or is Farfber going to have to overtake those as well, and they're going to try and get to the end of the race on those soft tyres?
We're dancing around. Sorry, go on.
That was all.
Oh, okay. Disappointed.
Over.
We're dancing around now because battles are brewing everywhere. We're at that point of the Grand Prix when everyone's thinking, right, I better turn up the engine because I've got to actually get somewhere. Matey Boy has got his eyes on passing Sophie. I think at this point, Sophie's choice of going on the medium tyres has gained her positions, but at the same time, it hasn't really helped her in the way that I think she expected it to.
Yeah, no, it seems to have played into Lienel's hands perfectly, but Sophie just seemed to...
Sorry, moving Blanchimont from Matey Boy. What a move!
Yeah, well, that's brilliant. It shows him that he's still got a lot to give in those tyres.
I think Sophie will have a little shout and scream now because he overtook me off track. She'll yell, but... Oh, look at that. She's suddenly got some more power inside her. It almost seems like she draws energy off drivers when she's racing with them. They're going 2 by 2 towards her Rouge. Who's going to be braver on the brakes? They're going to Marshall waving a flag. It looks to be. It's going to be Ice Bolt. No, it's not. It's Matey Boy, who is still ahead through her Rouge. Brilliant move there. But Sophie has the run. Sophie has the run on the medium tyres. And this is what she's good at. She's about to go past him on the harder tyres. Is Matey Boy going to hold off as Farfber is getting close to T. Jonas right now? But no! She passes Matey Boy, slapping the Mercedes in the face, going, nah, you have to work harder than that, boy.
Yeah, around the outside, using the DRS to gain the draft. But frustrating Matey Boy now, in the fact that he's now got to sit behind her for another half a lap, and he's run wide there, so he's lost all the momentum towards the back of Sophie.
Farfber has passed T. Jonas for P3, but gaining in all of this, he gained a time penalty, which will match him with Lee's one that he has. So Farfber has got to clear these guys and try and keep his penalties to a minimum. He has 3 seconds out to his bank, but it's all heating up right now, and I think Matey Boy is going to be starting to get sick of those Williams stripes.
Yeah, and overtaking T. Jonas, but coming up to the back of Ricky. Now 14-lap-old soft tyres, but he's still got another 8.5 seconds, or nearly 9 seconds to Lienel. But Ricky really struggling on those soft tyres now. It's going to be a very easy overtake for Farfber in the end. not much that Ricky can do to put up a fight, especially with the DRS towards turn 1, and he's passed and in second place.
Meanwhile, Sophie and Matey Boy are absolutely going for it. Sophie is diving at corners where I thought she'd go too deep, but she hasn't. She's going fantastic, but this time she's going to be on the outside for Eau Rouge. She's not able to get past him yet. This is going to be one exactly like last lap, where she's got to try and stay close to him through Eau Rouge. She has stayed close to him through Eau Rouge. Oh, it felt like the rear end was going to slip on the Williams, but she's going for it. She's going to try and pass him once more and do exactly what she did last lap and stay ahead of this Mercedes. It doesn't look like Matey Boy has got much to answer for with the DRS, and she's ahead of him through the braking zone, and that's a brilliant and inspired move from Sophie.
That's incredible. This is nerve jangling stuff, but Sophie seems to pull it off lap after lap. After getting overtaken on the back straight, then she just seems to keep coming back at Matey Boy and frustrating the hell out of him.
Sorry, I just got a message from Spark Bobster saying, where did you find Sophie? Because she's amazing. Yes, she is. She's doing fantastically. And look at that, 15 lap old tyres. You have to say that, 15 laps. But at the top of the table right now, 7 seconds separates Farfbat and Lienel, and we're getting close towards the end of the Grand Prix. The ashes are burning as we're coming to the end of this race, and we don't know who's going to win.
Yeah, definitely. Spark joining the hashtag Sophie fan club there.
Yeah, from Sophie fan club. Once again going for moving Blanchimont. Matey Boy carbon copy as he did before and hitting the grass as he did before. And Sophie now going to go on board with the Williams, sitting on board with her, holding onto the halo for dear life as she goes on the break. She did an amazing break here, but this time she's thinking, you know what, I'm going to try and tease him. Know what I'm doing. Get past him here because she's got the better traction. Look at the run she's got there. DRS open on the Williams coming into T1. Yellow flags ahead. Yellow flags disappear. She tries to go round the outside of Matey Boy. It's not. It's raining again.
Oh wow!
It is raining.
That's incredible. Wow, that is going to stop Farfbat's charge.
T. Jonas! It's T. Jonas!
Is gone.
Matey Boy's losing it too. Two
Sophie's
big incidents.
Place.
What
Matey Boy still got it, but T. Jonas has completely lost it. He's lost the wheel.
He is out. That's 2 for 2 in as many weeks for T. Jonas losing it. And I thought something felt wrong. Something felt wrong as we're coming onto the straight. And it is raining. And Spark has told you to shut up. But now Matey Boy, who had a dramatic crash, he was complete. I think that'll go to the... I don't know if that'll go to the stewards or not. Oh no, I've just got a result. And what happened was a puncture for Havlar. T. Jonas experienced a puncture in the middle of Eau Rouge, and suddenly Matey Boy is a casualty of that. I don't think you can actually blame that on anyone.
Yeah, no, I really feel for Matey Boy in that situation because of the fact that he just got caught up in that incident, but there was nothing really that T. Jonas could have done about it. So, yeah, no, really unfortunate. I really feel for him there.
There will be shouting and screaming in the chat, but right now I think 16 lap old soft tyres are going to start to feel it. I think even the super soft tyres are going to start to feel it as well in these conditions. I think Lee and Sophie are on the Sophie and Racer are in the best position because their tyres are not going to suffer as much. We're on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. Going to watch Lee come through Eau Rouge now. I'm going to hold my breath. Yeah, you can tell how much I love the Toro Rosso car.
Yeah, half decent lap here from Lee now, and he's got onto the final lap of the race, and he's won this. I can't see Farfbat gaining another 5.5 seconds on him, even on the super soft tyre now with the rain setting in.
This is magnificent. Could we see Lienel, a dream that he's waiting for, is win at a track which I wanted to win at, but I will happily give it to Lee. But I think Ricky's tyres are going. I think they're suffering to the point that they're going to give up soon. Because look, as Matey Boy goes on the intermediates, Sophie is going for a podium. Will it be the same 3 we had last week? No, we had Ricky on the podium last week, so it won't be the same 3 we had last week, but the same 2 at least. Matey Boy retires in P9. Oliver pits for intermediate tyres. But Sophie...
Yeah, Ricky just seems to have no grip left whatsoever. And Sophie's closing in so fast on Ricky. Right up to the back of him now.
Yeah, look at that.
He's completely gone. He's completely lost it.
After on the podium. Which she's doing it again.
Yeah, I know. Is it possible? What are we witnessing?
Well, you see, what's happened here is that Havlor, who pushed the tyres on too far, got a puncture, and I think Ricky has done the exact same thing. They were trying, but Lienel is on the final lap of the Grand Prix. He's passing Oliver. Now he just has to negotiate a Rouge.
Well, Fastback down to 4 seconds. He's gained a lap and a half in the last lap.
Lienel is through Eau Rouge.
Faffinelli losing it up Eau Rouge. Just managed to keep it on the track. He's just got to get through these final few corners. 3.8 is the gap. I can't imagine Lienel will be able to close in or be able to pull away anymore. But I can only think that he's going to be able to stay in front of Fafba for the end of the race.
Lee must be thinking, I don't care how much time I lose, I've got to just stay ahead of him. I've just got to stay ahead of him. Yeah,
absolutely. It's not the ideal situation to be in. Fafba all over the place, but still gaining time on Lee. Lee just nursing those tyres, 18 lap old on those mediums. He's done nearly the whole race on those tyres. Fafba only 6 laps on those super softs.
Bearing in mind they both have 3-second time penalties, this will not go down to penalties whatsoever. This is a race on track. He's passed the 3-second barrier, but he's lost time. This is it. DRS has been disabled. This is the point. And I think I can happily say that Lienel is going to win this Grand Prix unless he gets something monumentally wrong through these corners. But he hasn't. Coming down into the bus stop chicane, I can't get the smile off my face as Lienel, a good friend of mine, comes through the final corner. Lienel wins in SpeedForce. Finally, he wins.
Yeah,
absolutely fast. Oh, Fafba is out. He's out of fuel.
Nah, Sophie's too far behind. But yeah, Fafba pushing it all the way to the line there.
Absolutely magnificent. And you see Sophie losing the back end. Don't crash now because you're on the podium 2 weeks in a row. Sophie in the lead. Ricky passes his teammate. And look at that. Lienel is finally a race winner in SpeedForce. And he must be absolute. I'm going to get messages in a minute. I'm just going to get one. And it's going to say one thing. And I hope that we can get him into the commentary box to chat to him at the end of this race. There it is, finally.
Yeah, full respect to all the drivers for this race. It's been very difficult. Ricky even going on the intermediate tyres for the end of the race. It was so wet.
Absolutely magnificent driving from all drivers there. I think everyone who went through that race and didn't crash, it shows that they did fantastically there. Especially in the conditions they started in. That was possibly one of the best races to commentate on.
Yeah, starting and ending in the wet is just so traumatic.
And finally, we're about to see Lienel on top of the podium. Very reserved driver, but he's there. Lee ahead of Fafba, who's ahead of Sophie. I don't think he did anything wrong that race at all. Lee's saying he can't do an interview, so we'll get Fafba in because we know he could do an interview, and I'll just see if I can get a word from Sophie on that. So, 2 Bulls and a Williams on the podium tonight. So Lienel finally wins in P1 ahead of Fafba in P2. Sophie's in P3, so that's 2 podiums in her SpeedForce career in as many races as she's been in. Racer is in P4 and Ricky is in P5. Cpazzi is in P6 and Icebot is in P7. Zippo is in P8 and Pro Oliver is in P9. The DNFs were as follows: Matey Boy in P10, Sigard in P11, T Jonas in P12 and Spark Bobster in P13, Smelly Badger in P14, Alson Senegol in P15, Blood and Sons in P16, Racing Podge in P17. Dire Boosters in P18 and Game of Things in P19. And that was one hell of a Grand Prix there.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, like for the fact that it was transitioning from wet to dry, always makes it exciting. See what strategies they go on towards the end of the race, or towards further into the race. But I didn't know whether they could actually do 18 or 19 laps on those medium tyres. It's a very long way on a track like Spa, which is such a long track and such an unforgiving track in terms of tyre wear.
So let's try and get Farfba in here to chat to us with the with everything, and I'll just message Sophie. See what she can do. Let's get. So what a race! I mean, absolutely fantastic there. Everyone's so happy for Lee because he's such a nice guy, and he's run this league for a long time, and he's done absolutely fantastically. Farfba, though, is the only driver that will be joining us in the podium chats tonight. So, Paul, how was that race for you? I'll do the interview tonight.
What am I man for?
What was that? Sorry.
How come I'm on my own?
Lee is busy for sorry, Lee can't use his mic because I try and put my teeth in, and Sophie doesn't have a mic.
Oh, sounds fun then.
Yeah. So
Lee got lucky. Lee got lucky toward the end.
Oof.
I ran out of fuel.
You're saying that. So was the plan always to soft to super softs after the rain, or was that just happening?
That just happened. Literally just happened. I thought, crap, meant for mediums on. Thought go with the flow, try and get away, and didn't really happen. So yeah.
But so take us through qualifying. You weren't on the front row, which is quite a different place for you. Normally you're up there on the front row. How did that affect you coming into the race?
Well, not really, because I looked at the weather. I thought, and qualifying, I screwed up. I qualified instead of used super soft.
So, SpeedForce has been, well, you've had a few issues in SpeedForce with, not with other drivers, but, you know, with accidents and all that. Are you really enjoying your current time in SpeedForce at this point in time? Obviously, we have Christmas coming up, so we're all going to shut down the league and bear down, and we're just going to chat for a bit.
Yeah, man, look at it. You work at how TJ crashed out, and now puts me top. It's not bad for the break, is it?
It's not. So going into the winter break, you'll be leading the championship. Are you going to change your way of racing? Or are you just going to race exactly the same coming next time we race on the 16th at Monza?
Exactly the same.
So
it's work to begin with, so I'm going to carry on doing it.
You think you're going to win this championship, do you?
Never know, mate.
See, I'm trying to coax so much out of him. He's such a silent guy. He doesn't want to chat about it. Feels like you leant forwards right in my face.
you never know what's going to happen, mate. Put it that way.
You definitely don't, and we didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, AJ, do you have anything to ask him?
Yeah, no. How hard did you find it on the intermediate tyres at the start of the race in the wet conditions?
Not too bad, really. Just got a coast and the pain in the arse with a Rouge. You just got a coast and lift going up there, and then pin up. That's what I was finding a bit iffy.
Yeah, definitely. Did you think that you made the right call going onto the soft tyres, or did you think that that kind of the other guys on the medium tyres?
I definitely should have stayed on medium. Should have went straight onto the medium.
Is that what the race director was telling you? Or not the race director, the race engineer was telling you to do?
Of course. You got to love this game, ain't you? I said, I stopped on. I thought, Lee's put medium. I thought, beep. So yeah. Hey ho. Still got a second. Don't matter. Do it.
Still, second was a brilliant show, and obviously, as you say, you're now leading the championship going into the next event, which is Monza. Are you confident for Monza, even though there is a long break between it?
Yeah, without a doubt. I enjoy Monza without a doubt.
So we're aiming to see Farper at the top of the stables on at Monza.
Possibly, never know.
Well, it's been brilliant talking to you, and congratulations on your race. I have a few words from the other two on the podium. One from Sophie. I asked her, I said, how was that 2 for 2? And she replied, yes. I used a wet setup because the weather forecast looked like it was being wetter than it turned out, and she says it wasn't her best decision. So I had no pace in the dry. Thankfully, a lot of drivers made mistakes, and she had a nice fun battle with Matey Boy towards the end. Obviously, then we saw Matey Boy dramatically. I wouldn't say crash, but well, yeah, crash. Yes, hopefully we get a word from our race winner Lee in a moment. He's just typing to me, so I'll have a look at what he's putting in a minute.
You know he's going to wind me up.
Well, we can let you go if you wish.
I don't know, I might wait till Lee what Lee says. See what I can wind him up with.
Well, he has just messaged, and he's put, finally happy to get a win. I chose the right tyres with the medians. I won't say that word, but they were bad at the end. But when it started raining again. So, it seems he was very happy with that choice.
Jamie Sod, man. Hey ho, bring on Monza. That
is literally the talk. So, if you want to know what's happening with SpeedForce, we won't be seeing GP2 now until the 16th of January, and we will be shutting down these cars for just under a month, and we'll be seeing how they all have a nice relaxing time. But tomorrow we'll be seeing the final race before the winter break of Premier. And AJ, are you racing that tomorrow, or you got work to do?
I should be racing tomorrow.
So, I won't read what Lee's just put to me, because I won't, but still, you expect a good result for you tomorrow, much like Lee had today?
I hope so. I'll just have to be. I mean, there's a lot of quick drivers in Premier, so yeah, let's see.
Well, it's been a fantastic race in GP2, and a nice way to send off for the winter break, I believe. So, if you're not joining us for next week, for the next event at SpeedForce, we'll see you after the winter break for GP2 in Italy on the 16th of January. If you're joining us for tomorrow, well, I'll chat to you tomorrow in the Premier race. It's been wonderful to have you all here. Thank you, Farper, and thank you, AJ, for joining us in the comms box.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
And Farper does that by leaving. Okay. We'll see you all in a month's time at GP2. See you guys.